people are powerful allies and change makers in the movement against gender based violence.
In this series, we have honest conversations about our encounters with such violence,
sharing stories of what we have seen, faced, and learned as both survivors and observers.
This podcast is for young people, but for all people. This is I Am.
Hello and welcome to the I Am Talk series. This is Mehek, your host for today, and I have with me our guest, Joshua Sequeira. Hello, Joshua.
Hi, Mahek.
Can I request you to introduce yourself to our guests?
Yes, sure. My name is Joshua. I'm from Mumbai. I'm an academic counselor and I work for an edutech. Okay, previously I worked in ICICI Bank for 3.5 years as an investment manager, and I've also worked with autistic and Down syndrome children. So right now I've been counseling children, helping them with their career and their studies, and helping parents as well, and helping them to understand what they want to do in their life.
That's wonderful. And Joshua is a young person himself, and we're very happy to host you for today's episode.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's really good to be here.
So, Joshua, let's get right into the matter. What's your story?
So, coming to my story, I've gone through a lot in my childhood. As a boy, as a young boy, I was very timid. I was short, thin. I didn't have a good physique, and I used to get bullied by children of my age when I was young, and also older kids, and was always constantly trying to be accepted and trying to fit in different places. So stories when I was in my seventh standard, and there were older men or guys who used to play cricket in our society, and I used to go and play there. And I remember this one instance when it was Holi, and in the afternoon they were playing, and I had gone there, and they were messing around and playing around, and trying to have fun, and I think I just got caught up in the wrong moment. When I had gone there, these men, they overpowered me with their force. They caught me. They removed my clothes, and they applied colors on my private parts. They put water on me, and a very horrific moment for me personally. I cried a lot then, and this instance really like broke something in me. I remember going and complaining to my parents, and they were pretty angry. But I asked them not to go and tell these guys anything, because I wanted to be, want to keep my image of not being the one who complains or not being the one who gossips and tries to get his parents involved in his own matters. And I want to be that strong boy being perceived as that. But I remember crying, and I was very hurt when that happened to me. Felt very helpless and defenseless, and couldn't stop them from doing what they did. And that is one. I remember in ninth standard in my school, I was part of a school where there were only boys. So, there's a lot of play and fun, involved, and a lot of masti, and we used to really joke around and have fun together. But I think sometimes were really difficult. There was where I was bullied. So, I mean, through my childhood, this is one constant thing which I faced is getting bullied. And but this one instance when I was in my ninth, and I remember during between our periods there was a break, and during that break, the guys were messing around with each other, and this one guy he came, he held me, and he held me from behind, and he started touching me to his body, and he started performing like a sexual act, like I would say, and that at that point that really broke me down. I was so numb, couldn't move, I didn't know what to do. And like I said, I was weak physically, and though I was verbally really strong, I used to, you know, uh, back answer, and I think all that instance really broke something inside of me. It got really difficult for me, and like when I turned back to his face, he was laughing at me, and there were guys surrounding us who were laughing at me, and the way what that guy was doing to me, was basically just rubbing his body to me, and it felt so weird, and I was so numb. And that time, these things were pretty foreign to me. I didn't have complete knowledge about a lot of things. Uh, so that felt very weird to me. I, my whole body freeze, and I just didn't know what to do at that point. And I was smiling back, but I actually wanted to cry and shout and weep, but I couldn't do that at that point because of the guys. And my only reaction was to just laugh and go with it, go with their play, and not just accept what happened to me, and just just be strong and act like nothing's happened. I'm okay with it. I remember when I went to college, I think after ninth, 10th, this time, it got really weird for me to be normal with guys, Any physical touch, shake hand or hug and anything of that sort got weird. And I remember in the train when I was traveling to college, this guy uh, in the train because it was so crowded, this one guy helped me and he started rubbing himself to me in this crowded train, and I didn't understand what was happening. And kind of, history was like repeating itself, and it really got again. I went numb, and I couldn't push myself away. Uh, Thankfully, the station had arrived where I wanted to get down, and I pushed myself out of there, and I ran to my college. And these are just small instances where fear took over me. Like I was so numb, and I was really broken. These instances really shook me, and it changed me as a person. My reaction and my defense mechanism to this was to fight back with my words, and I turned rude, I turned abusive, and I was really hurtful and mean to people. And I didn't regret anything, because I was so numb myself. I couldn't react to any of these things. So yeah, I mean, these are a few instances where I faced sexual and physical abuse in my life, and yeah, it was really painful. Those times were really hard to get through, and I think 11th, 12th was a lonely phase in my life, which I'll never forget, like a dark phase because I had no friends. Couldn't make friends. I didn't know how to. So yeah, that's my story.
I'm sorry that you had to go through not just one, two, but three instances of molestation and bullying. And thank you for sharing them so candidly. My question to you, Joshua, is how have these instances impacted your self confidence when it comes to your friends, when it comes to your family?
I had shared these things with my friends, a few of them, but they laughed at me and they were like, "It's normal." And I didn't have a ear, someone who could hear me and understand me for what I was going through. And it was a difficult time for me to make friends because I think all these friends who I had who used to call themselves my friend, they were just like there for namesake, like, and it was just give and take, like, I was part of this group, which was the worst group I think in the school, but I got part of that just to avoid bullying, just to avoid being physically abused and all of that, to you know come in the strong category, to because I was not physically buff like these guys, and I had my mouth, that's all I could use. So the impact of all that I went through was, like I shared, me being rude, me, and that kind of and no one wants to be friends with such a guy, who's mean and rude
Hmm.
always. And very few who understood me, but I think I didn't have a lot of friends who I could call my close friends who really cared about me and accepted me for who I was, rather than laugh at me and joke about my height or my weight or my appearance and things like that. And it was really difficult. I think, yeah, friends, I didn't really have any good friends. Like I said, 11th, 12th, I was lonely. I used to just go to college, just observe people and what they are doing, why are they so happy, why are they sad, and just, I think I mentally lost who I was. I was always trying to fit in a particular crowd, in a particular group, rather than,
Hmm.
being who I was. And yeah, that got to me. With family also, I shared a few instances with my family, but you know, I think at that point they couldn't do much, like. And also my relationship then wasn't that great because mom was away from work and dad was working, and they never understood me and what I wanted to do. Like they put me into science 11th, 12th, which I didn't want to do, and I don't blame them because they weren't aware then. And you know But the point is that I was struggling on all areas. So I think my life with in that particular moment with my friends or family was really difficult, and I used to cry alone. I think like many do. It's not just a quote, but I literally my crying place was my bathroom. I mean, when I used to pour water on my head, I was just crying there, and I mean, it sounds funny, sounds very cliche and normal, but one who's gone through that pain of having no one but yourself and who and just being there for yourself, the most difficult time. I even one point tried committing suicide, and because I was so fed up with my life and with everyone around and the way I was. So yeah, really huge impact on my life.
It's been a journey for you, and with the way you have shared, it definitely shows how difficult these moments would have turned out to be. In your conversation, you mentioned more than once that you were not strong, that you felt like your mouth, your words were your weapon. Do you think in any way that the way the society looks at a man, looks at a boy, looks at a son, and the way they expect them to be has affected your emotional vulnerability or the way you open up to share, your emotions or your feelings in any manner? Has that affected you?
Yes, I feel this one thing has affected all boys. I just don't want to come across as a victim or someone who's just I myself have gone through it. But I think every guy who's brought up in this system in this culture that we're living in right now uh, is trying to be someone they're not. Is trying to be strong. Is trying to portray themselves as someone who can go through any hardship, any you can tell them, you can abuse them, you can say whatever to them, and they won't take it to their heart. Just normalizing that, normalizing things which are not normal, like abusing and saying stuff about uh, people's appearances, judging them for their looks, for the way they are, for the way they talk, and all of these things. Like it's you're brought up in such a culture where all that you're listening and hearing is that you know you can't cry because you're a guy. I mean, why are you being so sensitive? Why are you being so emotional? Are you a girl? And they categorize us in such ways, like, and it's I mean, at moments I catch myself doing that. I don't want to be, and and I and I try to change and work on it. But I'm saying it's so ingrained in our system that it just naturally comes to us, and the only escape from this is accepting who you are and standing for what you believe in and what you believe in, what you want to do. And I think that I didn't have before, because being a son, I had to like I couldn't I couldn't like I don't feel I could cry or share things that were hurting me. I didn't have that space. I felt created. Even as a as a guy, being a guy friends with so many men, and it's so difficult to be vulnerable, to actually be who you are being, because then you are judged on that and you are made fun of. You are treated as someone who can't fit in or be part of this particular group. And we we change ourselves so much just to fit in and just to be part of you know some alpha group, which actually means nothing. I mean, I I write today at this point of coming in my life where I believe you attract your own energy, like, and the people who you could connect to and talk to. Like, you don't need 10,000 good friends. You don't need to be loved and accepted by everyone, but the ones who really care about you, and be yourself with everyone. And and you will be accepted because you're being authentic. And I think that is one thing I didn't have in my past. So yeah, that is, I think every guy goes through that phase of being macho, uh, being the man, being physically built and having a physical aura and appearance. Yeah, so yeah.
You've put it very wisely. Accepting yourself for however you are and being authentic about it. On that note, that you have been able to reflect on your journey so strongly, how did you find support in these hard times when you were younger? Did you
Uh,
manage to find support?
yeah. So till 12th, like I said, I was alone. Uh, just just going through the motions and just going, just living life normally and trying to just survive. But post my 12th, I met this person in my church who whose name is Praveen, and he helped me. He guided me. He mentored me, and he was someone who I could share my complete life with, and not feel judged or not feel that he's going to think that I'm trying to be someone else. And but I could just be myself and share my heart with him, and it was so easy. He just heard me out, and I think that's what I wanted. I just needed that, for someone to just hear me for what I wanted to share, for who I was. And he kind of believed in me. He kind of instilled faith. He empowered me, and he showed me a side of me which I never saw. And from there, I think that was a turning point for me in my life where things slowly started shifting. I won't say it completely changed then, but there was a decision which I had to make of now overcoming this. All of these things which I had gone through of being physically abused, sexually abused, and to just be open, just be myself. And as I was moving forward, I think post that, the change began. My journey began from there. And I remember 5 years later when I started working. So that's how long this journey took of overcoming this whole phase of being bullied and abused. And I gone to Bangalore, this inner healing deliverance camp, and there was this one session where on the last day where you get to share your complete life with a stranger who just hear you out, stand with you, give you a hearing voice, he would pray for you, and the freedom that I received at that point, I remember crying for 4 to 5 hours nonstop. There were just tears rolling down my eyes because of all that hurt that had accumulated and I had carried forward, the burden that I had carried forward in my life. And this felt like a huge burden being lifted off my shoulders. And there was there was such a beautiful peace which reigned in my heart. I still remember that when I had walked out of that room after sharing my complete life and forgiving each one who had hurt me, forgiving myself for the pain that I had gone through, and just stepping out of that room, the freedom that I had received, there was a smile which didn't leave my face, and there was this constant grin, the smile on my face, and I was so happy, and I knew at that moment that I was free, that none of these things would in the future or of my past that would ever affect me, and I was completely free from it. And there was this joy, a joy which was of abundance. Uh, Even if someone said something, no one could take it away. It was not that easy now. Before, when people say some things, you easily get affected. But I remember going, overcoming all of that, and now being free. No one could take this joy away from me. Even if someone shared that, I was short or thin or whatever, I had at that point accepted who I was, and I loved myself for who I was, and I still do, and I'm so happy, and so yeah, those were the support system which I received. Someone who I could share my life with and be accountable to, who helped me and guided me. But I knew that I had to be the one who take these steps to bring that change in my life, and which I did, and I'm really happy now and free.
Glad to hear that you found a committed listener in that mentor of yours and that you went through this camp, which shifted things for you completely. What was it that shifted in you? If I have to ask you especially about these instances that you shared, what is that thing that made you free completely?
It was being heard. I put it out simply as someone hearing me out for what I wanted to share, uh, showing me a different side which I didn't see to myself, a side of loving myself, accepting myself, and just being content in who I was. And the third would be to live in that freedom of who I was. So I think it's these little things are so powerful and can bring big changes, and not just our lives, but in the world that we are right now in for each and every person. So I'm really happy and blessed, to be honest, that I had someone to hear me out, someone who could input good things in my life, you know, in my life. And third is that I had decided that I wanted to change and bring about a change in my life and accept and love myself for who I was. And yeah, the result is I am free. So yeah.
Now that you're looking back from here, you've come a full circle. You're free from your past. Now that if I ask you to reflect back on giving a message to your perpetrators, those who caused you physical and sexual harm, and who thought it was play but it wasn't really for you, what is your message to them?
I think my message to them is that I forgive you and that your play might be play for you, but it might not be play for someone else and it might change someone else's life. The best part about what I've gone through is that today, that person who had in ninth standard done that to me, he is still a friend and he's a good friend of mine, and I'm still on great talking terms with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I have overcome that in such a huge manner that today I can face him and still love myself and love him for who he is. And the best part is that these people, they come to me to share their problems, to talk to me, because I am that listening ear to them now. And so I've come to a point where I've forgiven them, and I'm not saying I mean I've been rude to so many people. I mean, trust me, I seek forgiveness too from all of these people. Whoever are watching, I don't think anyone has the right to treat someone like their own play toy or use someone for their joy and their fun. And I think my message would be that we are not uh, we are not here to be used by you, but we are here to be there, and live our lives freely and happily, and to just be encouraging, and because you don't know what a person is going through, so be supportive, be caring, be understanding. I think these men or these boys, young boys who do these things, they personally go through these things, which is why it's so normal for them. And I think our society has normalized this so much that I feel that's the main problem, that it's not normal. We are living in the new normal, uh, and so let's create a new normal in this phase, in this area as well, of not going through physical and sexual abuse just because you're a guy and a guy is doing it and it's okay. That's not normal. uh, my message would be to understand and be be caring and hear people out for what they're going through.
What is your message to the other young people, young boys and young girls that are out there?
I think to all the young boys and girls out there, I would say that you have a voice, and this voice should be used to not hurt someone or get back and take revenge, but to stand up for yourself, for who you are and what you believe in, and rather than being revengeful and hurtful and trying to hurt the person who's done things to you, forgive them, uh, accept who you are, and also know that those people, the things that they've done to you, the things that people have said to you is not true. That you are not what they say. You're not defined by what they do to you or what they say to you, but you're defined by your own actions and how you stand. So I would say stand up for yourselves. Today there are so many places where your voice would be heard and you would find support. Trust me, I would love to be there. I work with kids, I'm with parents, and I try to bring this balance and understanding between both parents and children, and help them and support them. That's all they need. I think if you need support, there are a lot of places to go to. don't choose the wrong way. Don't give your life up, or don't don't go into a dark space. But I would say live freely, accept yourself, accept who you are, and you will be free. Trust me, there'll be a point. It took me 5 to 6 years to come to a point of you know accepting what happened to me and moving on from it and going above and beyond it. And you will reach that point. Just strive and keep pushing forward. Yeah, this is what my message would be to all the young guys and girls out there.
Thank you for that. And lastly, what is your message to the older generation out there, the
To the older
adults?
generation, the adults, the so-called adults, the people who call them adults, I would like to say, uh, just just go back to your past and see how you would love to be treated, or how you would be loved to spoken, to like I know everyone, each one of us wants to be loved, wants to be spoken with love and understanding and care. And if that is what you adults wanted in your past, in your childhood, then today you have a chance, maybe to not get and receive that, but to give that same hope and love and care to children, your own children and children all around, and to not hurt them. I mean, not fight against them if they are going through this physical and sexual abuse, but be there for them, support them, stand by them, hear them out. It's not easy, but we need support. And I think children need the more than children, needing strangers to help. You need your family support. I would say to the adults out there, uh, become a child. Okay, don't act like one, but become a child, and try to understand these children the way you would want to be understood in your childhood. So this would be my message to the adults, that if you want to see freedom in your life and your children's life, and whoever you'll meet and come in touch with, just be a child, and just be there for these people. Yeah.
Powerfully said. And on that note, um, Joshua, let me reiterate that all your messages to all the people that I've asked you to say, you have mentioned being caring and being supportive and creating a space for open, authentic sharing, allowing each other to be themselves. Be a child if you need to hear your child. And that is very powerful. It was a wonderful space that you created here because you were so authentic and candid about your experiences. And I only hope that our listeners take something back into their own lives. It was a pleasure hosting you, Joshua. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much, Mac, and the whole I Am team for having me. And I would say you are doing a wonderful job. Keep getting these stories out and being an inspiration for all the young people out there. I think your initiative is really amazing, and I'm so happy and proud to be part of this. So thank you, Mac, and the team for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for listening in today. If you or someone you know is facing such violence and needs help, please check in the episode description for resources.
This podcast is part of Play Talk Change, a virtual conference around serious gaming, research, and gender-based violence. Follow us on social media and check us on our website for other updates.
If you would like to come on the podcast and share your story, please email us at playtalkchange.ni3@gmail.com.
Don't forget to subscribe and register for the conference.